Oh, you will find Gagarboni, Tashi Dele, W. Sora, you would Jakala, you would need to talk from my country, and Tashi Dele.
First of all, Tashi Dele, and to all the disciples in the various centers, wherever you are in the world.
So the dam building the Nathalie, Tata Kanga to me or in Trita, the Nathalie city of the Dominican, you work up a choose on. Choose about the Kanga in the Tarangasim. They are not Tory, the way are not Tory. The minute they are the Joy top, the Merazo top the Sadi Tony, the Nami, they have a chew this year. Fifty about the community, send rugs at the Jugo. Yeah, they are not the Dominion, Dodo. They are the courage, the Dominion courage. Oh, they are not Tories, Dominion not Tories. They in a kitty task the good doctor to the Judicial may pass on, for that companies on them and yet in each of the good of the Judicial Army, but the musical areas of Doctor's own songs. Joe Magura, the new Margaret Lenu, just the song is, or the just around the hours, just around the hours. You change that out of the or the judge don't need the young tattoo. Or it's just Tsewang Dzinpa, just a minute about just they are just about very chocolate, the mayor. You know, the chocolate a pig or something, the mayor marry. It was the 10 and get the tabichu, the need part they are joking or it.
So nowadays there's a lot of difficulties, there's a lot of suffering in the world. And we need to know why there is so much suffering. And that even though there is so much suffering, there's an antidote to suffering. And the antidote to all the suffering of sentient beings is the holy Dharma. And so what is the Dharma? So the Dharma is a method to transform suffering into happiness. So for that we actually first recognize that when we experience happiness, happiness is a thought in our own mind. And likewise, suffering is also just a thought in our own mind. So therefore, the Dharma is a method to transform this thought, and therefore it becomes a method to transform suffering into happiness. So the Buddha was the one who gave us this method, and that method is called the Holy Dharma. Also literally, this word Dharma means something that kind of you change or you fix something. So for that, you first recognize that when you are happy, that is a thought. So sometimes we think that, no, it's like a solid thing. There is something called happiness. Happiness is happiness and suffering is suffering. But it's actually not quite like that, because what really is happiness? Happiness is nothing but your own thought. And what is suffering? It is nothing but your own thought. So on the relative level, karma is unfailing. And ultimately, everything is empty. This is the twofold truth. And through the twofold truth, we are able to kind of cut through our suffering. So first we need to understand the relative level where karma is unfailing. So we need to understand where suffering comes from. It has a cause. And that cause are our non-virtuous actions, the afflictive emotions, ignorance in our mind. And So first, in order for anything to arise, we must have created the cause first. And then once we have the cause, the condition which then arises facilitates the ripening of suffering. But then even though we suffer, actually suffering is also a good thing because it is like a surgery. And when you see it that way, you really are able to transform suffering into happiness. Because when you do a surgery, at first, of course, the surgery is unpleasant, it's painful, but you do it anyways because you know that it will be beneficial. So therefore, you don't suffer about it in your mind. So this is like the Holy Dharma. It is such a method to transform suffering into happiness.
로마 삼식이 되자가 동리 내가 쥐냠 냠슬이 바데라 답에 치듯이 제주가들이 저와 탑락해 봐라더니 죽이 들고 고자고 말이 준진이 배송 와커 선랍 내라서 버터지 고자고 요 말이 흠만나지 제도고 요래 그 쪽들이 다다다면 챈데 류데 집게집에 쳤더니 다 취소되고 맞잖아 들이서다 소마타마 타르보니언 남는 조성만 보통 이리지 남들이 보면 보자 들이다 대들이 잡을 때다 대자라서 것들이 파트를 다다다리 돌아온 것들이 들까야만 고요고요 들이들이 세이지 고고체데 그래서 다라는 잡을 로만 상태에서 교체be 체데 들이면서 주소도 고 잡아야지 옛날에는 나는 추인제 입에서 들고 잡을 말이 대외에서는 들이다사다 들들이 속소 쌈짓을 잡아준 거예요. 오, 답을 주지 왔는데 답을 그래야지. 우리 답을 줄라 맞다 되나. 우리 사지 것은 거다 아니해서 그리 저도 시해요. 그리 뚜꺼들이 다 매인직이 빼놓고 이 답을 줄 접아보던 제바보 삼치 접어거래지. 이나한테는 이를 몇점 매일 줄라면 뜨는 거요래. 여론 여르도 참 뜨는 거요래. 이 추가살로 거기가들이 답을 치지 용들이 빼는 답을 치지 때려서나 얘가 좀 잘아서 그리 때려들을 안 한 게 납선이 눌러들이 다가 되게 참 남양들이 제가 이런 말에 강연을 드리면 그렇다. 주도 동행이 니고 송나 동행이 니고 가리 했더니 그 쪽들이 준비를 하면 되더라. 준비를 남도네. 다다 저기 좀게 와대 마빠는 데가 동행이 라고 탑진 주거리 준비를 하면 받으라. 준비해서 온 거 봤지. 이 책들이 다다들이 매일 수줄 있는 거고 요래. 돈나들이 돈답도 돈 많이 있어. 돈답도 돈 많이 있고 돈이가 돈 쏘서나 이 샘대식는 거 제시매 받고 또 주마다 왜. 이 대화다 동에 지와는 좋아라서 보다 주마다 왜 하고래. 이 생코로 제시매 받나 가다. 제시매 돈도 그런 것도 사자치 보다나 그리 고민이 되지. 이 로젝트 고민이 또 좋아. 이 샘을 제시매 하고 요래. 내가 동에 주마다 통고 요래. 뒤도 동의하더니 동네 매번 대화 전부터 도다구들이 대화 그러니까 저희들이 교와서 고속 준비를 하면 받아요. 그래서 주마다 와서 내가 들이더니 라게 단지 마세가 받았더니 준비요래. 니지 세스면들이 준비를 대배주지. 내가 가시고 그 받았고요. 똑같이 뭐 준비를 주대요. 준비를 대배주지 맞아. 그래 돈도 돈 많이 돼. 돈도 대받으라 들이 다다다 니요 말이지. 돈이다 니게 손좀 좀 와서네. 들이 다다 내 손족세 냠들 차로 요래지. 쩍와 돈도 된 말. 주가 틀리냐 쩍 어때 잠시 추지영서 로직 차로고 요래 대다와 하고는 다 하고 그럼 근데 너무 매번 대화 전부 내가 탈 거예요.
So the antidote to suffering is the Dharma. And so most of you disciples around the world, you know about that, and many of you have a lot of faith in the Dharma, and you make great effort in the Dharma practice, and all over the world there are Dharma centers, and there are many Dharma centers nowadays, just like our center right here, that nowadays is closed. And why is it closed? It is for the benefit of sentient beings. It is for the benefit also of all the disciples to protect them. And so Dharma practice can be engaged in many different ways. The Buddha provided many different skillful means of practice. So really it's this physical center that is being closed, but the Dharma itself is not closed. So we are continuing activities of teaching and listening and increasing the Dharma, conferring empowerments and blessings and so forth. So in that regard, the center or the Dharma is not closed. So we continue these activities just like we did before. But it is also the case that ordinary people consider their body as very precious. And so for this reason, to also kind of respect that, we had to close the center, because if not, then also disciples have to travel from distant places on an airplane, and despite being a kind of a hazard now, also it's very expensive, and then on top of that you have to change planes and so forth. And so it's very difficult to come here, especially nowadays in this world, due to the various circumstances here. And so that's like an outer conditions that we have now encountered, and that is why on this relative level, the center is not open. But so that we did for the disciples around the world. It's really for them. But in terms of Dharma activity, the center is really not closed at all. The Dharma is not closed. The Dharma continues to go on. So try to also see it like that, because then you can really see the incredible benefits that still come from the actual Dharma itself. And so the Dharma was given to us by the Buddha, and the Buddha, as we always say, is an embodiment of the three kayas. And the Nirmana kaya manifests, for instance, in this world, in the human world. And anyone actually who engages in Dharma activities or practices the Dharma, teaches the Dharma and so on, all are really Nirmana kayas. But then since we have not taken birth in this particular human world, it is also necessary that as we engage in our Dharma activities, that we also act in kind of harmony with the general conduct of the human beings, and that we also kind of act in accordance with the particular place that we are at or the time that we are in, and follow the various laws and rules that are present at that place and time. So in any case, the Dharma is an antidote to suffering. And so how is it an antidote to suffering? So on the relative level, we have said karma is unfailing. So on the relative level, we are taught the workings of karma. So that's what we follow. And if we do not abandon the cause of non-virtue, then suffering will ripen unfailingly. So if you think of these words, then you understand that since I am born in the human world, there are certain things that I have to do, and so therefore I must practice according to these workings of karma. And if I do so, then you will find happiness in a mundane relative sense. And then in an ultimate sense, from the ultimate perspective, everything is empty by nature. So when one realizes the nature of emptiness, you realize the nature of the mind. And the nature of the mind is beyond birth and death. So it is only on the relative level that we experience the change of birth and death and happiness and suffering. But once one realizes the nature of the mind, how things really are, all of these appearances appear just like illusions. The mind is just like space, and the mind, therefore, transcends birth and death. It is never born and never dies. In the Mahamudra teachings, for instance, we reach a level that's called non-meditation. Before that, one taste. So everything becomes one taste. A whole diversity, a multitude of appearances becomes one taste. When one has realized that the mind transcends birth and death. When one realizes that this nature of one taste, then also one will see even suffering arising as illusory by nature, and also happiness as illusory by nature. So that is the quality of realizing the ultimate truth, where the bliss or the happiness that what is attained is an unchanging state of bliss that has transcended suffering entirely. So on the relative level, karma is unfailing, and whatever arises is illusory, but it arises for as long as one still clings to the self and a dualistic existence. And until that has been eliminated, karma always happens. It not as causes and results that ripen. One does not transcend. And only when all dualistic grasping has been completely eliminated, one even transcends karma. One realizes the ultimate. Also, in the Dzogchen teachings, it is referred to as this ultimate state of original purity, or the ultimate truth, where there is no duality, just like space. There is no division within space. And so this ultimate state is this unified state of this unity of emptiness and compassion, or we call it the union of the two truths. And actually it's not really two, it's really just one. It is said that ultimately there is just this single sphere, this dimension of the Dharmakaya. That's the ultimate truth. It is an open expanse that encompasses all of samsara and nirvana. And within this expanse, everything is of one taste. And this is the expanse of Dharma Dhatu. That is the ultimate view to be realized. And when one realizes it, then one becomes liberated into the state of great bliss that is beyond all suffering.
Tsewang Dzinpa somyoba de tenga kina de lo ngana de ni tang so do tam sa yo ta zo bo lo ji tong go yo le dan ta de jma ta wa lo ge ja so ta wa so de ni de ri de ma ge chi so ta mi tsewa yo le de tsewa de le de ni ta sa sa ka wang ta da la de ni cho do de ni ba yang yo le Dzinpa Tsewang Dzinpa som zo yo le ko sa ta je ke de so hang ba chi ta to go yo le 롱크가 들어다더니 무슨 이상 저도 카가 시작해. 다들 무슨 들이 나 정통주요 깨트요 마스나 삼tuk 삼바 니지 요래. 니 때문에 말하는 생각요. 나 사제래란 말이. 나 완전 생각 사제 쓰는 유무고 제경매 삼바다 때와 진짜 삼바다 때와 돈이 된 경제 송도 줘봐지. 남도 매버센트 돈 semsamada 돈만이 라고 요래 sem포나 돈만이 제가 삼제 요래 삼제 되게 내봐라더니 들다가 sem지 삼제라 들다가리 저 단지들이 님 같이 대들 단지들은 이모들이 집에 상속도 셈 삼바다 니가 들고 요래 드리페나 쳤차고 자그롱지에서 봤다 그래 이제 저기나 남니 대차들이 되는 지금 상하 왕근 나뉘더니 들이 다다 라마차원도 왕디나 들이 좀 집부터 sab초 탐제더니 들이 잡았다 들이 누부다 그래 들이 좀 조금 많이 봐 탐제들이 상하가 가비들이 탐제도 어떻게 저런 거요 영리 탐제대 계산들 약간 사지 좀 뒤에 죽은 타투가 랑그 생들지 대일 생들 야지 가리 다인이지 요래 대인 들서들이 세지 담지 죽어 틀리냐 잭데 죽어 걸어오는들이 파가요 말이 자와 담지 싫은데 잭들 이 세지 담지가 랑그 남치지 싫은 포서는 들이 세지 담지 다 따라 사지 이제 사지 세지 담지 사지 세지 나무 사지니 숨주대양 처럼 따라 자운이 세지 요나야 처럼 되는 처럼 말이지. 좋다 처럼라지 쳐봐. 대시를 뜻하는 동시에 요래. 대시의 왕디 로지의 따뜻한 복개도를 생각하지. 인용도 로그이 대지니 인지당 개별소속의 개그동들이 로지의 같이 뭘 마셔야지.
And so today we are receiving an empowerment which belongs to the secret mantra Vajrayana. So normally we receive many different empowerments. We have received so many empowerments. But we have to also understand the essence of them all. So first of all, Jigten Somgyön had said that the difference between the sutras and the tantras is the empowerment. And so the deity that we receive an empowerment from is a Sambhogakaya. And so basically the empowerment is conferred through this connection, establishing a connection between the Nirmanakaya and the Sambhogakaya. So all the disciples who receive the empowerment are Nirmanakayas. Actually, the basis of your mind is all one and the same. It's the Dharmakaya. Just temporarily, we are Nirmanakayas because temporarily, due to having created different causes and experiencing different results, the various appearances of the 6 realms of samsara manifest to us. So we are the Nirmanakayas, and the deity from whom we receive the empowerment is the Sambhogakaya, which is like a rainbow. We can, now for example we can really see the quality of the Sambhogakaya as we see each other on the screen. So we can see each other and we can also hear the voice. And that's really the quality of the deity. There's this appearance that is ungraspable, and we can also hear the sound. And the deity then also possesses great qualities of omniscience, compassion, and power. And so now I myself, as the Vajra Master conferring the empowerment, so represent this quality of the deity, the Sambhogakaya. And so nowadays, even though many people always wanted to hug me and so on, actually this is just the physical dimension. We always talk about actually the Sambhogakaya, and now we are actually, due to all these closures, we are experiencing the Sambhogakaya because now you can see, but you cannot grasp. You can see on the screen, and I can see you. And so that is really a Sambhogakaya quality. And so even though there is this, we lack this physical part, there still is the mind, and my mind is great love for you. I love you very much. And it is really through the power of this love that the empowerment is actually conferred. And this is what really gives it power, the power of the blessings that are being conferred. It comes really from the qualities of the omniscient mind and the compassion, and then the power that is being transferred. So this is how we receive empowerment, actually. And in fact, now we are actually really experiencing the conference of blessings of the Sambhoga Kaya, since we are now just seeing each other on the screen. But we are still feeling each other's love, because love and compassion is still present and all pervasive. And so when we confer the empowerment, so when I'm conferring the empowerment to you, then the mind is a mind of Buddha, and is free of afflictive emotions and of great love and kindness. It is a mind that is this unity of emptiness and compassion. So this is the mind whereby the blessings are transmitted. And this mind that is free of all thinking, of all thoughts, that is the pure mind, the empty mind. And that's the nature of your mind. It is this pure and empty mind. And then within that mind, a quality of this empty mind is that it is love. It loves. And then through the power of that love, disciples' mind is being tamed. And so tamed of what? So in their minds, there is self-grasping, and due to self-grasping, afflictive emotions arise. And these are tamed through the antidote, which is the altruistic mind, bodhicitta, love and compassion, which is just like hot water that melts the ice block. It is that there is a single ground, yet two paths. And so today we receive an empowerment. It belongs to the secret mantra Vajrayana. It is the empowerment of Tsewang Dzinpa, the guru who holds power over life. And it comes from a Jigong Kagyu, Dharma revealed by Rinchen Puntsok. And it is a king of dharmas, like the essence of dharmas. And it does not only appear in the Jigong Kagyu teachings, in fact. And we should, whenever we practice the secret mantra, really we must know how to bring it all to a single ground, a single essence. All the practices have to be brought into a single essence. And the single essence really is, Buddha himself had said, the ultimate meaning of Dharma is completely tame your own mind. Taming the mind means to purify the dualistic grasping itself and other. And so when that becomes tamed, then actually there are no sentient beings. Then all sentient beings realize Dharmakaya, this singular expanse or dimension of the Dharmakaya. And there is nothing but this expanse of the Dharmakaya. And so therefore it is said within the vast expanse of primordial awareness, all the Buddhas are one. And we merge with this awareness when the consciousness, when our ordinary consciousness is transferred into or is transformed into primordial wisdom. And then actually all beings already are by nature Buddhas, because their natural state is that. The Buddha himself had said all sentient beings are actually Buddhas. It is just temporarily their mind has become like ice. And even though it is temporarily, it doesn't really appear like water, but it still is water by nature. That's its ultimate nature. So through the Vajrayana, that is a method to recognize that. So we come to the empowerment, which is part of the Vajrayana. And in the beginning of the empowerment, we will read the historical background of the empowerment, which I will first read in Tibetan. And after that, we will read it also in English and all the other languages, because the history is really very important.
어디도지 정치부 고방 토벌사 대의 체도 가도 빠친보 담추 공부 양잡제 추제에서 람마상 람마상 tsewang dzinpa wa kursa ma jwa yin te yang jawa kursam je sanwa samji me chapa jawa kursam je sanwa samji me chapa mariba chikdo jiba Garchen Rinpoche pima jungni tab ramjam tamchi ramjam samji me chapa matang mama yinbe dāche hiba tenhi je kamdang wangbo gyuyor gyuyor tang sampara songwa le dāna odi jibu lase matakte yabyom so matakte bo yabyom so la tamchu gongpa yadab jamhador damba sabje sa sabe se lase jarbu tudam tikcho ma na ve la rab tamche de tar to de jege de dana odibe man jung ne ji la ma ye dang kan ro tamchi la san che ge ga ye ja da zhuo ne ne ning ge de ga ming ma go ji ju tok je de ba san sa chong ji ngab je tama dong ha ju be du 지지 저러봐 사세기와 예 투담도 예당 라가드 양득상화 세진데 찍데 때도 취송 때도去了 去了냥他的同学那个不就상화 세제 ga dang gong ju dang zhou sam yi la ba ge me lang de dong xi ba ji de dong xi ba ji de dong some人这个土当的你得来过那咱们人都十九不进咱们那样做才能你了超过个头那没就了多几到人就是西当上海到这样这个就说就是这些马路跟着头建筑车这种车通龙就车这不龙没车对就是车这个上就就不这把浪都就定几年去吃完球对什么家里头就你不的这把咱就去你然后去你然后鸟前面车人这个头把就是西当上海人上海三级上面的讲你不知道说这个事到对我这个的上我就觉得上天这就我们国际的问题上面的老有人老有人就是这上面讲各样我都觉得不容易这个他说嘛就刚刚没来啦，我嘛刚阳没特别的把是让他也讲说个你不有个红的，有个红的，因得啦，宁波嘛就刚阳没特别讲吧，就这上面讲工商工吧，多上子没，我是落地同了嘛就落地同了嘛就刚阳没，各有个我都就是我呢，就是这些。这个马路街往过儿街那个别把这不得了，别把就来打你，我把也是朝上家马路打了走，但是这个电影就来起来写，当这种这边光光在可能看解决，什么人也在 那是他的所长的你让人这个做头工吧的你的那就是年龄的机密多西说在这哈吧他们三周样子上些的这些工的你他是那就是不都这种把钱不去家人钱不做那咱们把看着老娘那时候让着人家照顾咱的时候亲戚那么正怎么的吧对你这就是这种就这种看着做好的紧张吧那些的土长宁波当时公关呀他我听说人走来有说讲起去的我的就马个我的马个别嘛用的这突的没呀这个上完了没别是样就这些突的宁波人真这车子养上让人没办法就光不写破他的头发养在宁波这些个就他养就归着过心中大上下是那个工地tham gia hoa chức tầng ngàn rồi chức là cho sự hấp lấp như tốt phim xem ít tầng thì bà tác dụng công tác gì là xem làm sao được trong thì một quan cơ sự hấp dẫn bà sao một bà là thì ta lo gì thì hát chẳng thì lo làm bằng bồi rồi thì sau thì ta 한국 요인 요래 막때 로관이 그래서 이 소리세 로그니 로지도 하자 같이 모래 네가 담요를 봤다 약군인 거래 예권한테 또 거리 상하가 대주 삼망는 라직고 마 망는 라직레스 샘나도 망는 샘 대식이 못 거는 거대 예비에 다 소직레 거대가 소직 대슴 다 하고 그래 상하 집아데 살빼만 보더래 도적 봐도 적적도 많이 차는 거래 이렇게 친구요래 생각이 되는데 왕부요.
So this was the history in Tibetan, and the history is very meaningful, and today I also read it in Tibetan because maybe many Tibetans are listening. Next, we will read it in English and the other languages. The history is very important, so please listen carefully. And also the essence of it is that even though in the Vajrayanam there are many deities to visualize, they all are complete within one. And even though there are many mantras to be recited, they all are complete within a single syllable. And although there are many thoughts in the mind, they are all indivisible within Buddha nature. So this nature is the indivisibility of samsara and nirvana, or like the single life force. If you understand just these 3 points, then that is the essence, even though on the external level in the Vajrayana there are many different illustrations, but there's really just a single meaning. And this single meaning is the meaning of emptiness. So it is very important, the history is very important, and so after that I will then confer the empowerment. So now I will read the history in English. So it's the empowerment ritual of the secret practice of the Guru who holds power over life, found in the light green turquoise scrolls of the utterly profound enlightened intent of the Holy Dharma or the Yang Sub. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, attain the state of the great Orgyan Vajradhara, who embodies all the Sugatas. This is the purpose of setting forth the empowerment of the secret practice of the Guru who holds power over life, found in the light green turquoise scrolls of the utterly profound enlightened intent of the Holy Dharma, of the great sacred, the sacred great perfection. infinite and inconceivable practice texts of Guru Padmasambhava, the Lotus-born, within whom unites the secret of all the Buddhas of the three times, exist according to the characters and the scope of the mental capacities of humans and non-humans who can be trained. When the great organ conferred the profound and vast maturing empowerments and liberating instructions of the utterly profound enlightened intent of the Holy Dharma upon the King Mudik Tsebo, the Queen, and many others, he imparted the ultimate of all Guru practices to the Prince King as his single sufficient personal practice, and he said, having lifted the seal of the secret command that I, Padmasambhava of Udayana, have entrusted to the three roots of Lama Yeda Mendakini and the oath-bound Dharma protectors, this secret heart teaching, the pure essence of all pith instructions, this mind accomplishment, the ultimate secret, shall be the principal commitment, the destined Yidam deity of the accomplished emanation, the rebirth of the Prince King in the final era of the 500 years when beings indulge in the 5 poisons. As I offer you this single golden letter of the secret quintessence, hold on to it and bring its practice to completion. Considering this secret mind treasure as an infinite ocean of the Buddha's words and enlightened deeds, my single heart son, recognize its unfathomable nature. The meditative commitment of the knowledge holders of the three times is just that. There is no other practice than this. My single mind son, practice it. You will attain the supreme city in this very life, and your illusory body of karmic ripening will become like a vajra. It is the stomach fat of secret mantra, the life force of all quintessences, and the mind of all the Buddhas of the three times without exception. At the time when your treasured life is cut short, there is no time to practice. Your life is coming to an end. In order to accomplish the heart of awakening within a single life, listen to the teachings of the sutras, tantras, and their commentaries, and cut all mundane ties. Find the self-arisen nature of reality upon merely reciting this heart essence of the mind of the Buddhas of the three times, and you will become a deathless knowledge holder with power over life. Although there are infinite secret mantras, knowledge mantras, and retaining mantras, bring them to their essence and visualize a single deity, recite a single mantra, and practice single-pointed meditation. The quintessence of everything is subsumed within these three. Although deities exist in boundless different forms, the essence of the enlightened body is the Vajramasta. There is no deity not included in that. Although there are boundless different levels of mantra, the essence of enlightened speech is the syllable Hung. There is not a single essence mantra not included in that. Although the ineffable enlightened mind is limitless, the enlightened mind of Samantabhadra is just a clear and empty mind devoid of grasping. There is nothing not included within the truth that lies beyond the mind. How is the Vajramasta the essence of the enlightened body? The empowerment of all the Buddhas and knowledge holders of the three times is complete within the empowerment of Bema Dokbotsal, the powerful lotus guru of wrath. By visualizing yourself in the form of Padmasambhava, the infinite peaceful and wrathful deities without exception are complete within yourself. Thus visualize his form with one-pointed concentration. Only this is the enlightened mind of all the Buddhas of the three times. This is the very nature of the mind of all living beings in the three realms of existence. This itself is the lifeline of the gods and demons of phenomenal existence. This itself is the enlightened mind of the knowledge holders and accomplished ones. There is no yogic practice other than this. This single golden letter is the widely glorified secret quintessence of the Guru's secret accomplishment. The Dharma king Rinchen Puntsok, who was an emanation of the Divine Prince, and who was endowed with many names such as Namchak Mebar, meteoric iron blazing with fire, Kadol Longyang, ever-widening expanse of liberated space, Natso Grangdol, myriad self-liberation, Ratna Drakbosal, powerful jewel of wrath, and so forth, revealed these as hidden treasures from the great gathering cave of the Dakinis at Shoto Didrom, from the fivefold Yangsab Dharma comprising 6 kinds of colored scrolls. The heart essence of the Divine Son's meditative commitment is found in the light green turquoise scrolls. It is the sublime guru of Udayana Padmasambhava's mind that has endured. It is said that this is the quintessence of pith instructions, the secret and unsurpassed refined essence, and the heart essence of those gone to bliss. It is the knowledge holder's practice for extending life. It is the innermost secret, unsurpassable skyfarer, and the ultimate innermost heart of the enlightened mind. This is the practice of the single letter of the quintessence. It is the innermost essence of subjugation. The blessings, power, and benefits of this practice, of the practice that unifies all practices of visualization and recitation of the outer and inner secret mantrayana into a single deity and a single mantra syllable are measureless. In order to perform the profound stages of conferring the blessings and empowerment of the secret accomplishment of the guru who holds power over life, a practice that belongs to the section of the 3 roots, first a mandala is offered. So first we offer a mandala, which we always do whenever we receive an empowerment. And so what we really offer is the root cause of dwelling in samsara for self and others, and that is self-grasping. So we are offering up all of our self-grasping and think that in return we receive the Buddha's altruism and bodhicitta. So now please offer a mandala.
Om Beda Sada Samoyo Monopoloyo Beda Sada Tinoba Tidane no Me Bawa Sodakayo Me Ba Subojayo Me Bawa Narado Me Bawa Savasade Me Baye Savakarma Sada Me Zadan Shayam Guru Ha Wo Banga Sarvada Tanga Dam Beda Mame Beda Beda Bawa Ma Zado Wai Won Benza Burma Ye Number Da Bawan Jese Jesaye Won Benza Rege Awon Se Jaren Koyake Yon Korwa Wisa Won Reye Jar Borera Shalem Pabo Lon Zambele Na Balanjo Sondra Shardale Dalim Boy Lord Ngayab Ngayab Ye Nabda Yode Dalam Jondo Sangda Drameni Drameni Jeda Rambo Jeye Rovo Pasan Jeye Denjoye Ba Mame Baye Loton Kolo Ramboje Norwe Ramboje Zimo Ramboje Lambo Ramboje Lambo Ramboje Tamjo Ramboje Mabo Ramboje Terjen Boye Bamba Gagba Mandren Wama Lama Garma Medoma Dobema Nazar Marja Jama Nyema Dawa Rimboje Do Sole Namba Jave Jense Wesala Maye Pamjam Posom Sopa Mazawa Me Shinga Namba Daban Nyeka Ye Shinga Yedan Tsumi Parde Lama Damba Kunchong Edon Timbe Nyema Bar Zambe Shangan Minzi Tsewang Samo Shave Yendan Barwarje Wo Tok Jen Rove Tenda Yesasa Yene Senje Lab Do Zoye Bejo Zoye Medo Leye Nye Jemboinde Sonye Shen Lo Mede Purwaye Rokoi Nanda Shen De Jewa Yo Len Yen Jik De Ram Jan Jun Sam Yor Ram Jan Jam Tsoi Shen Gen Yor We Zo Ma Le Lo Ye Lang Den Bu Lai Na Tien Yin Ro Goi To Ji Song De So Da Le Long Jian Do Pai Jian Jie Ba Pong Gan Jian Jian Tai Yon De Mar Jie Da De Song We Ngu Pa Jie Te Gu Ba Jie Tang Zin Xie War Sin Jie Lo Ngu Dan Ngu Men Ta Le Yong Do Xian Jian Ga Ne Song Do Wang Da Jie Jie Men Jie Len De Ne Lo Men Da Jo Per We Song Jie Do Ba Sin Jie Lo.
Page 7, Mandala Offering. An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of infinite oceans of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold them with compassion, all the beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and concepts of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The Supreme Mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood.
Beda Sato Samaya, Manu Palaya, Beda Sato Dinova, Dinami, Sudakayo Me Bawa, Subakayo Me Bawa, Anaradom, so what the Meba Yeda Sawakama Satame, Tatam Shiam Kuruhum, Ho Bangave, Sawata, Beda, Mamma, Somaya Sado, Masawata, Beda, Abekigati. Samaya Jere, Rumble Rinpoche, only Loma, Homa, Homa, Sawa Begani Agarakaya, Zama Sawa Begani Noma, Tata Gadaba, Yobia Sawata Gaukati, Imam Gangana Kam Drahani, Balinde, Zova, Homa Sawa Begani Noma, Sawa. Bayo Bijom can be Asawata Gati Savarana, Imanga Ganagan, Drahani Dam, Balinda Yazova, Umasawa Began in the month. The time Gata Bayo Bijom can be Asawata Gati Savarana, Imanga Ganagan, Drahani Dam, Balinda Yazova. Umasawa Began in Balinda. Megani Balinda, Hong, I remember the what? Manaka got the better, Kamita, the Budo, the Jito Machilan, Umasava, Nayaka, Otaya, Umbe, Sumana, Hong Drana, Anaya Homaga, woman, you did you go Sati, the one better Shata Anaranka. So draw the 아? 로보 삼진 되고 다니 저거 이제 저빨빨 망한 거로 빈마 상황도가 뭐이 냠be 뭐 동서 잡고서 집에 또 참모자데 소원이 반대 얘기도
Think of the Vajramastam as the actual great lotus guru who holds power over life, the all-embracing chief of all mandalas, the embodiment of all Buddhas. With fervent devotion, kneel down and joining your palms, please repeat the following supplication.
Jima Lama Guru Tripaka Go Song Tok Dang Yong Xin Sang Chen Le Chen Bun Zhuo Be Tong Dirza Je Ban Ze De Sor Da Zha Te Pe Lo Be Nam Tok Je Chen Bu Zong De Sor
English. Alas, Lama, Nirmanakaya Guru, for the sake of sentient beings, may your sublime body, speech, mind, qualities and activities bring those who can be trained to consummation with great compassion. Please look after faithful disciples like myself.
Shinda sabja same lava samun ji da tam chega tam badi be numila jinda marongwe ta chen doan de la sin sa so jada te tam cheg do ta chi ba de ta ti de la jibje li chi me be lok ta chi de chu la sorry yang lok ta chi Tēne tērā sō ngō tōna sāngchok chīp tā mbē tīmbā tērā sō kō rek tam chīna tēne sāngkhā kā nū tā mā rōngā rē sō tēne tē rā rā tōna tēne sāngchok chīp chī tam chī pīngō sāmbā lō tēo nā tēne tsāma pēngyē tsāma sāngā yō tīn tsāma tērā sāngā yō rē dāndī tāñi mō mā mā rība ngā kī wāng tē shēne chīp chī tam chī rē pīngō sāmbā tī lō tē chīp chī tam chī pīngō sāmbā lō tē kī 다소소 피거를 대하고 거래. 조고사지 진핑선에 좀 인핑을 놓대라. 인핑을 놓 서랑을 대랑상계로도 대하고는 이때는 놓다 dim이지. 니기가 맥제 맞아 대체발에.
In the text it says, as these utterly profound and secret blessings should not be given to unsuitable recipients who do not possess samaya, the disciples are examined. So regarding possessing samaya here, it really refers to those who do not believe or trust in karma and therefore hold wrong views, or also maybe those who possess biased views toward a certain kind of side, and that also is a wrong view, and many others and so forth. So basically, as long as we hold such a wrong view, we cannot have true bodhicitta, and therefore it's really about those who possess or not possess bodhicitta. And this is what determines one being or not being a suitable recipient of the secret mantra or the empowerment. And so therefore, if you just have the wish to benefit all sentient beings with bodhicitta, then within that mind, actually all the qualities are complete, because that mind is free from all afflictive emotions and self-grasping. So when you receive the empowerment, think that I am receiving this empowerment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and understand that this state of mind is actually your own greatest benefit, because it is said all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. Whoever possesses the altruistic mind will attain enlightenment. And so this is really what determines the difference between being or not being a suitable recipient. It is the difference between having or not having the eyes of compassion.
Jeho mahangorane pa wang rikya pala jimbasa nyume semji tonga ra teya onjo ngisong tong jina paje siwa ya tamsek nyana niga la riso chala tukjir jang tamsek sumna wang kore jinso nona sanchok singtang madrawa che wang da tomni tamsek samsek sante song sang lo tiyo na tiyo kare.
So it says there, please listen, child of noble family, I shall offer you the empowerment of the Mahaguru's might. Now in the age of degeneration, the 5 poisons grow more violent in sentient beings. Controlled by mental afflictions, beings are falling into miserable states of existence. If you hold the Samaya to become, if you allow the Samaya to become corrupted due to various obstructing circumstances, both the master and disciple are lost. Therefore, keep the Samaya even at the cost of your life. And so really, again, it really means do never separate from the mind of bodhicitta. So if you always hold on to just that vow of bodhicitta, then it is sufficient.
체든 빈바 조도 서는 오 마까지 체든 빈바 조서는 지어지 체럽데 체럽나 생기선들 빈바데 빈토버 생기 지어지게 이제 핑고 서는들이 마체 피고 대대사를 서는 거래 같이 저기 성화들 까불더니 산속선 막지바 시제들이 대신에 담색 쏘고 세양한데 쏘다 담색이 쏘고 세야 르면 당더니 능능제를 셔면이지 오 나타는 신나 셔선지서 피고 선다 셔고 그래지.
And if it happens that due to various conditions you separate from this body, this life force, then you should die with a state of mind thinking that today is my time to die. May I become someone that will bring great benefit to sentient beings in all future lifetimes. But this is the state of mind to have, to think in such a way. So to think this is, when I die, when the time comes, this is how I have to die. And so then when it actually comes, then you will not forget about bodhicitta. So this is really why it is also referred to as, the Samaya is referred to as your life force. So it is also an aspiration where you commit yourself thinking that when I die, I will not die in a fearful state, but when I die, I will be ready to die, and I will die with a wish to benefit all sentient beings.
With
the intention to observe the grave Vajrasamaya properly, please repeat the following.
Samaya Etinte Naraki Lama Pima Tsewang Dzinpa Kosho Tsasum Japsu Jepar Chenpo Nipe Dani Kachapje Jeko Tamche Jekon Tata Sanchok Matabje Parde Japsun Tsewang Nyambarunze Jidu.
Since the Lotus Guru, who holds power over life, surely is the all-encompassing chief of the ocean-like 3 jewels and 3 roots, please repeat the following supplication, thinking that I and all living beings pervading space take refuge until attaining awakening.
Bima Chapo Zar Du Sam Jarwa Jik Du Or Jin Je Ran Sem Zhu Zar Dak Sem Xie Cho La 你真帮被苦被夹生气。
Hong, I take refuge with non-dual respect in self-knowing, self-arising, awareness, appearing as the Lotus Guru, Pema Dokpo, the sovereign of Uddiyana, within whom the Buddhas of the three times unite, and in the peaceful and wrathful deities of the three roots, which are my own unelaborated mind.
让人因那些信我嘛是把更大吃不希望的这个身体团结那么长期出国广帮人过不实在往个什么学生多样的让我教养呗民族上出错的身体把这一句呢
Sentient beings are controlled by fabricated confusion and therefore do not recognize that their own awareness present as the wisdom dwelling in the primordial ground. Receive the profound empowerment and engage in practice with the intention to establish them in the state of the Guru, the Dharmakaya of all Buddhas. Thus, please repeat the mind generation of aspiring and engaging bodhicitta.
红让人对内用着透气啦，马人跟大王者罗瓦南，给这人生个人被马耶，红旁这人被是身体多。
English. Hong, deity of the awakened mind, primordially present within my own awareness, in order to liberate at once all sentient beings from the fetters of the ignorance which conceptualizes everything, I give rise to bodhicitta in order to accomplish the state of Guru Padmasambhava.
初经在大概健康少种本身，初经的稍微热，因那他妈这一季的都是。
With the intention to properly perform accumulations, purification, and increase in the presence of the merit field, please repeat the 7 branches.
红突击拉错这些几把肉，古北三层身上上出门，得人头下，给了也让我。 东南去送个性罗瓦南，他把马头把的肉手手，对身上有给南做上火，这我拉门光朋友头小。
English. Hong, deities of the awakened mind, please come here and joyfully remain. I respectfully pay homage and present you outer, inner, and secret offerings. I openly confess all misdeeds and obscurations. I rejoice in the virtue of others. I request you to teach the Dharma of the ultimate truth, and I beseech you to remain until all beings have attained liberation. I dedicate all virtue accumulated in the 3 times for the sake of complete enlightenment, may the fruit of the Guru state be swiftly attained.
다티들이 심지 탐색이 본데 사제 토바사상이 기가 쳐서 탐색 심지 동의상 심지 거네들이 나다 까맣게를 미소자 잡상을 배 미소자로 나지.
So think that may I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and think in this way, in whatever you do, whether it is a slight or a great virtue. So hold this state of mind while we take a 10-minute break to use the restroom and rest.
Om mani baby home, om mani baby home, om mani baby home, om mani baby home. Om Ahom. 나고네 알아서 산재녀도 타고지 녀도 ton나더니 산재시 봐도 샘이 타고리 샘기 상지 봐도 니디 상고요 제되는 샘 남갔다면 이 차들은 니면은 샘도 남갔다면 남게 가서 샘그 차 샘그 가서를 차 송들이 남지가 산재 차들 샘때 Doctor Simpson Jason, the Nita Terrace and Happy Jago Passo, Nambos and Happy Jetty, Dandy, Jimping local stage of safety of the Pigo, some now nobody lings of high yori. Usually, Tata, Dajin or Yin and New Jay, Yin and New Jay. The Yin, you what they don't not in the same new or Maritina, the 따뜻하다. 이제 홍 잡고도 요거 뭐 가니 라는 센터 태가 홍 잡고 주나 센터 남카타 라미기 차대 다 얘기지 가면 라미기 차대요. 네 축구 듣고 송 다ቆ기들이 홍거 용티 송을 때를 그래서 다 깨름 강고나 도마로 홍 요들이 센터 맞다자 차대요. 지금 이들이 남선나도 그 발마쇼바 이 고속랑 바사 강고를 뒤까지 남저지나 이 라디 무세 차고요. 이제 세대 대식님 보여요. 그 당마 침 보여요. 대 정말세 봐라. 아뭐 다 정말라 고속 사쪽 세 팽고 사바세미 반창하니 홍 유니들이 돈다는 거 내가 선들하니 그 내lok도를 냈대요. 때리 죽으라고요. 이 찍을 게는 거는 따따다 왕게 게는 거 살았는데 사람이 이제 못 봐대래지.
So then, next in the empowerment, and we come to the establishing the consecrated ground upon which then the wisdom being descends. And so, first, the intention is to attain the state of enlightenment quickly, and attaining enlightenment is attained by the mind. So the mind has to attain enlightenment. And enlightenment or Buddha in Tibetan means Sangye, and Sang means to clear away. So first we need to clear away dualistic grasping, and then Gye, the second syllable, means expansive or vast. So then when dualistic grasping is cleared away, the mind is vast, like space. So then the mind is wherever space pervades, and wherever the mind pervades, it is said awareness pervades. So naturally then your mind becomes awakened or Buddha. It is also said your own mind from which nothing is to be removed or added to is itself the Buddha. So for the establishing of the blessed ground, the consecrated ground, the first and foremost thing that really establishes the ground is to eliminate self-grasping with an altruistic mind. And for that, we just need to not separate from the wish to benefit all sentient beings. And just all at once, just let go of this clinging at I or me. So we still have some dualistic grasping of kind of dualistic thoughts of self and other. We also feel to have compassion for others, so there is a sense of duality there. But we can also at the same time understand that in ultimate reality, there is no duality within the mind, there's no division. And that is represented by the kind of ultimate counterpart to compassion, which is the forceful utterance of the syllable hung. So when you utter the syllable hung very directly and forcefully, then in an instant the mind becomes just like space, just naturally. In that moment there are no dualistic thoughts of self and other. And as we mentioned before, you then see in the Dharmakaya nature of your mind. So that is the quality of just the hung syllable. And within that, actually, all the different visualizations of generation stage are complete. When you speak out loud the syllable hung, the mind becomes very clear, just like space in one moment. So without having any other thought intervene then, next visualize the form of whichever deity you're receiving empowerment from. Instantly, have this image appear in your mind instantly. And what appears then is the actual deity, because it appears from within the basis of your mind, your own Buddha nature. So that is a very powerful instruction. So what is to be purified here when we establish the ground is the self, and on the relative level, it is purified by cultivating a wish to benefit others. And on the ultimate level, it is purified by uttering the syllable hung forcefully. And when you do that, then just naturally you come to the nature of the mind, which we call the Dharmakaya. And then from within that state, the natural state, then the deity arises. We then visualize the generation stage of the deity.
The Tachakana Patilla, Yanga Ta, the Nogatian, the Sheldon, but certainly, no Cobatella, Triti, Gisity, you home of the Rinkamana, the home than I the home mabo, men without the home the Chibu, you were going to not talk to Parma, you take you the younger son, Yamizama Jota. The Jesus ta tacham di jin se de kam ni lam se yang ka ba te ta le de jakta yang me to yang ta yang me ti pri ko de se le sharong yo le de di ka ba de yang ta ka de ji ta ka de je ba le de lo ni sha le de chola ma song de ni sen ha de la ma tang je sen zhong na la ge sen zhong na xiang ya ge ta ka le Tatangago ne or Jinji Shatanga, Yamde or Koto, Tripa, the Hatter Tachimore, the Mangor Rajatan around part of her link of Yore, the part of Hatter Tachimore, the young man that the lamps of Sim Chavas of the Jordan, your hunger, not told you Parma Chupe, some sort of Nakata child, the state like community, who took the Nekapse, not talk or now I will do the Pachi. Rang Kadishana, home goes at the Rang Yington is up on the Flores.
So then next, so then there's this image of the deity, which probably appears on your screens now. But in any case, wherever you have this image, look at this image repeatedly, And now Rinpoche will recite the visualization. And so during the time, you can first just look at the image, and then you close your eyes, and then just visualize a red hung syllable in the rainbow sphere at your heart, just like on this image here on Rinpoche's throne, on his table. And just visualize that and focus on that single pointedly without any other thoughts in your mind, and just rest in a state of meditation. And then later, when you are asked to open your eyes again, then instantly look at the image of the deity. And then again, close your eyes, have the image appear in your mind. Again, open your eyes, look at the image, close your eyes, and in this way, keep repeating it. And eventually, the deity will appear in your mind clearly. This is how we practice with any other image during an empowerment, like this one, or a tanka that we often use, like a tanka of Yamantaka, for example. We use it in the same way. For example, this is the Yamantaka tanka. This particular Yamantaka tanka is a very special tanka because it has not become damaged in any way during the 20 years of the Cultural Revolution. And it was hidden in private quarters, and then was reinstalled at Gar Monastery, where it still remains today together with them at the monastery. So it's a very, very precious, very special tanka. And so in any case, whatever image you see in the internet, on our screens and so on, you can just download and take that image and keep it. So these images are very precious. And so now you have this image, look at the deity's image, have it appear in your mind, close your eyes, and mainly just focus on the hung syllable without allowing any other thoughts to arise. And then the mind just remains in a natural state, a space-like state. So it is normally, the reason why we are not in the state is because the state is interrupted by thoughts of me and various different thoughts arising in the mind. But whenever you think of the syllable hung, you meditate on the syllable hung, and the mind becomes completely empty, then you are actually just naturally in this clear and empty space-like mind.
Hung hung ji ju be chirang na ke che ge ne da be me din na ne da be me din do go ra be ma to po ta ro ko do ma na ji kwe cha ji do ji ma so da ga ma ro hung hung de ge do ro ba thou ni mong ni mo ba de ge pa la nya je tho do ji ba la do ra nga ta nga che de jin wa ro be ta ta ge ji cha yin na ta je do je de ge这个把东用我个人接着过来就把传统节把感觉样子的吧，一起就进行说你到了说个人去就是吧，成天成晚干着打着，干着在打吧，些被娘的没嘛到嘛了，奥什没帮去把打人吧哇，少个白天家毛过了说哇，我这偷了偷。우리 지나가다 막 감도 어디에 저서 서제 농바 곰라 대자로 살외 년 가라 다베데 여기 양호자 로거랑 진진 대야데 용종 마보 이나 예라 이나 예라 하르네세 하르네세 쳔바 용종거 대와 홍마보레 양례 롱송 용종 예서 코싱 이게 이게 나래
嗯，
이게 나래
嗯， 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 嗯，
이게 나래 이게 나리야 저는 좀 나야블니 희바 빠도 뭐 진장 지랑노 스스로 말고 뭐고 동조고 잡고 형콩으로 뭐 때문에 이조je 메다거 베마디와나 그래베다 소마야 잔자 아위야야 홍의정이 매마종류로 오셔서 저대대대대가 이제 뭐 비만 동생 따르는데 카드를 이제도 오다들어서 속시도 책지지자고 그래서 매제자 털로로 따다로 뭐뭐라라 이상라도 혼자다라네 카드들까지 그 집하고 또 찾아 탑 마음 카드 대다 찾아 탑 지저대절레디 저도 저시도 그러고 얘는 보여도 잘하라 이거는 뭐제도 잘하라 바나도 저도 하다 저제비제가 살아라 그러다 근데 그 집어이 쉽을 잘하라 하면 나는 뭐더라 버려나게도 산다로 서지 투지들어서 연락해서 내가 세주고를 저기 좀 나도 막아라 따라서 엄거에서 연락도 저를 이제도 맞아서 라고라고 그러도 이제 그러도 속어서 연락도 아무도 맞아서 강하라 아니 뭐라고 그러도 홍도 투지들 연락도 저서 또 맞아서 똑같이 저항처럼 걸어서 생지리도 벌어져로 걸려고 내서 걸려서 메타그라피 맞아서 내가 다 하는 거 내가 아비샤야 홍배당 거를 빼마 세대 홍 사마야 생생 다야나 아위샤야 생생 자 홍 이시바다 만nhau 띵바 레드 사사의 구속라 맥람서다 구속도 이제 이제 여기 홍랑 되는 그거에 들이 조남 탕치라들이 다네 정도들이 파다 탕치들이 그런 거 자주 같은 저 홍콩을 보면들이 임지 밤이 연구요래 돼.
So now look at the image of the deity at once, and then this appearance in your mind is the actual deity. And or you can just visualize the hung syllable, and from now on, throughout all your activities and whatever you do, think that the pulse pulsating through your body, through your channels, like your heartbeat, and all the wind currents are the sound of hong, hong, hong. And when you habituate to that, it will become steady day and night.
나 하여튼 내 사바 강내지는 내다다 미시리데 라고 돼서 곰바담데 곰바데 끼마다 많이 봐 배다 라고 파사라데 타고라가 따다 오 따다가 랑지 홍홍홍 이 일라 짜 탐시 짜 라제 메바 짜 치고서 홍치고 요거요래 홍도 람지기 주커요래 오 니랑 그 루스타 참아 람지 홍 주커도 상디 데이터에서 생나 미시지 째들 미시지들 제 이거 참아 근데 가디는 오 람지기 요래서 진시다 냠들이 짜리 탐색을 홍 잡은 거 요래 마찬가지 직장이란 말이에요. 제르진들이 람지 제네지 시대 람지 시대 등 홍대 속은 거 요래 제네지 시대들 람지 람지가 도지를 때도 창대를 때다 봤더니 람지 담라 시바들이 나디는 상하지 뭐 담라 때야 생각만 봐서도 홍주를 되는 거 요래 홍나도 다람지가 작동 남도랑지 동반하는 거 요래 배나 남동 작동 렉동 톡도지 동 섬들간에 렉동 톡도지 남도 가르치는 람지 제로 홍지 제로 요래 하자 가르치는 거 요래
So the profound key point here is, so which was part of the recitation, this term certainty. And that is profound because this practice doesn't just become some kind of exercise of meditation or something that we fabricate, but it becomes natural. For example, just right now, feel your pulse at your wrist. Feel how it pulsates, your heartbeat. And when you feel it, actually you recognize that it constantly pulsates throughout all your channels in your body, and that's Hong. The pulsating is the Hong, Hong, Hong that constantly, continuously pulsates throughout your body, throughout all your limbs and all the channels in your body, just naturally always reverberate with Hong. And so this is that certainty here, when you feel your pulse and then suddenly you realize that, actually the Hong is actually kind of recited in a way othered, expressed continuously, naturally, all the time. And so when that awareness becomes stable, then you always are aware of the natural pervading Hong throughout your body. And so with mindfulness, you recognize that Hong pervades all the channels in your body. It is your heartbeat, your pulse. And there is nothing within you that's not pervaded by it. And so in the naturally also means that it refers to the wisdom, the primordial wisdom that dwells on the ground. And then there is the primordial wisdom that dwells on the path, and that is when we are first introduced, when we first recognize the Hong. But actually, the awareness abiding in the ground means that it's already always there, present in your own Vajra body. Or as it is said in the fivefold path of Mahamudra, for example, recognize your own body as the Yidam deity. The essence of the secret mantra is the Yidam deity. And the essence of all visualizations of secret mantra is the Hung syllable. So the Hung syllable also, through practicing the syllable Hung, appearances are recognized as empty. And when appearances become empty, naturally all sound also becomes empty. So we speak about the three Vajras, which is empty appearances, empty sound, and empty awareness, which is the Vajra of the mind. And ultimately, the three Vajras are subsumed within the Vajra of the mind. And when you recognize that, and you utter the syllable Hung, when you feel the syllable Hung reverberating throughout your body, that actually naturally will cut through all conceptuality, all thinking. So that's a very important point.
왕의 동도 소화돼 반대 지도 주바자 라마지 무저 자와 예랑라 바체코선 칸르토 custom lame san la wang. Kadin dala so.
Now we come to the main part of the empowerment. So please repeat. Please impart on me, a fortunate one, the blessings of the Guru and 3 roots, the precious Guru, the root of the lineage, the Yidam deity, the root of siddhis, and the dakinis, the root of overcoming obstacles. So first we come to the form empowerment. Visualize the vase and the image of the deity as the Guru who holds power over life, the embodiment of all the 3 roots. The empowerment is conferred through the stream of undefiled nectar flowing from his body, and you receive the empowerment of the endless continuum of ornamentation of the sublime Guru's form. Consider that you have received blessings to never deteriorate from the changeless, everlasting, adamant, indestructible, invincible state, the spontaneously perfected, natural expression of phenomenal existence as the deity's form. So think that in space appear limitless dakinis holding empowerment vases, as many as there are sentient beings, and they confer empowerment upon all sentient beings together.
Lama Tsewang Dzinpa Wang top Lüje Dharma Liba Jang Zuko Laye Saja Gomba La Wang Tomang Da Chiyeng Yishije Rang Zara Zog Nipa Yula Yago.
You have received the empowerment of the Guru, Tsewang Dzinpa's body. All obscurations of the body without exception are purified. You are empowered to visualize the form of the deity, the power to actualize your inherent potential, to fully realize all thoughts of ignorance as Dharma to wisdom is placed into your mind stream.
Wang Top Sanang Dake Tomche Tato Yomi Hongaramji and the Sayet Labar Sambar.
Visualize the Vajra Master, that's the speech empowerment. Visualize the Vajra Master as the deity, and at his throat a coral red hung syllable from which a second Hong breaks off and dissolves into your throat. Through pointing a Hong at the throat, you receive the empowerment of the endless continuum of ornamentation of the sublime Guru's speech. Consider that you have received blessings for all sound, outer and inner, transforming into the indestructible nature of Hong.
다의 행복도 이게 홍 홍 잘라나 디 당시 다의 초까지 르지불라 왕거베 차왕 아버지 봐 정도서 홍배당 거를 배옹왕 배다 사마양 거를 베마스데 와가 베겐도 홍 삼에 홍주고
Everyone say Hong. Hong, Hong.
내가 다tab제들이 이게 홍 줘서 홍
All sound becomes Hong.
Lama Tsewang Dzinpa song go wang top, song go wang top, aga zhiba ma liba sang, ningbo hong ge deba sawa wang do cha nam da so do yi xi rang za do be ne ba ju le ya go.
You have received the empowerment of the Guru Tsewang Dzinpa's speech. All obscurations of speech without exception are purified. You are empowered to recite the essence syllable Hong, the power to actualize your inherent potential, to fully realize all thoughts of attachment as individually discriminating wisdom is placed into your mind stream.
셰도 생각 때에 마한 거를 통면 제바 제정 콜리 왕 톱제 까다 선접을 빠사지 공부선 합 능능 보와 미식 대식 말리바 대식 말려 특히 뭐네 맙주랑서 맙주랑 좀 산책 중다 잘 가야 돼 이게 벌라 왕거 왕거웬 첩에 심지 이바 장도서 엄마 홍배다 거라 선바야 거라 빼마세데 뜨다 베케인자 홍 뜨다 베케인자 디 라마 tsewang dzinpa tokyo wang top yije zhiba ma li ba sheng zorim tong san zi mi je nam jor dang ting di mikpo chodo gompa la wang xie dang nam da mi rong yi xi jirang tara tokpo ni ba ji lo ya go.
You have received the empowerment of the Guru Tsewang Dzinpa's mind. All obscurations of the mind without exception are purified. You are empowered to practice the yoga of the completion stage of empty clarity free of grasping, the power to actualize your inherent potential, to fully realize all thoughts of hatred as mirror-like wisdom is placed into your mind stream.
홀로 떼발 때 마한 거를 용증이 마제바 지저 홀로 왕 담바 토바면도 이제 손도 용도 뭐 용디랍도 런보체 근라 왕제 홀로 바바야 까지 이게 바로 왕거왜 왕거왜 짐지시 남이 바자도 엄마 홍배다 거 베다 사마양 거를 빼마서던 거나 베겐서 거나 베겐서 the Lama Tsewang Dzinpa Yung Di Jo Wang Top, Nga Tang Lom Zhou La Ba De Zhou Ben Yan Se Sam Ji Xie, Rang Dong De Zhen Kan Mek Ban Cheng Ko Ru Jia Wa La Wang, Nga Jia Ren Nam Da Nyam Ni Xi, Ye Rang Zha Re Zhou Gu Ni Ba Ju La Ya Go.
You have received the empowerment of the Guru Tsewang Dzinpa's qualities. All hindrances that cause harm to your power and resources are pacified. You are empowered to practice yogic exercises of focusing on substances and mantras for your own sake. The power to actualize your inherent potential, to fully realize all thoughts of pride as equanimity wisdom, is placed into your mind stream.
Honga Yina, Ngana Tepe Mahaguru, Chile Mezeba Jijo Kolu, Wang Taba, Topa Muzo, Ha, Java, Zeba, Chile, Toba, Chile, Navi, Kanga Kanda, Kati Rijabola, Wanga Tonga Nipa Pumba, Yang so Hong Beta, Samayan Gora, Bima said the Kama begins. Ho 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 ho. Di Lama Tsewang Dzinpa Chalen Ramjamji Wang To Khosom Rodong La Ba De Zhu Bei Nian Ce Ta Ta Xie Yin Dong Mek Ba Mei Ben Chalen Nama Ye Zha Ma La Wang Cha Do Nam Da Za Zhi Yi Xi Jie Za Zhi Yi Xi Jie Rang Zha Zhi Dong Bei Ni Ba Ju La Ya Go.
You have received the empowerment of the Guru Tsewang Dzinpa's activities. All hindrances that cause harm to the altruistic activities of the master and disciples are pacified. You are empowered to perform the 4 enlightened activities for the sake of others. The power to actualize your inherent potential, to fully realize all thoughts of jealousy as activity accomplishing wisdom, is placed into your mind stream.
Di tata kichiburi hong kado nga di sem satong tela tili ishinga ramzong chan gori tili pena ta sher dela nima jamna wezer kado nga ramjing yugo yori pe te tawa tili chale tomi rodung ze song rang tili na tong su jog ko top song la tili de semti tamche tili chile nama ngar goni de ishi ngar goni septi ge dongse ge gangre de nyumo nga de mahin be kar nyumo ba ngare de mi so ishi gare kaka yo ma nyumo nga ishi kaka yo ma ben chagrom de chore 마저는 chagrom go shi cha dong ge do ti ba re be ta mi da ma mi ge che ba re de ishi ge de nyumo nga de mi yong de ti da re de 이거지 미용을 되는 게다가 단체에 이제 내려서가 되는 거요. 그것은 그게 내려서가 들리. 다다 라마 그 지에 바탕제지 심지게들이랑 자리에 되면 핸들이 배 핸들은 자송 나오나 배 제대로 핸들한 게 내lok도 송아 랑 사람 내lok도는 인지메 핸들라. 이 시간에 랑징들이 심지 또
There's one important point here, and so that is the Hung in 5 colors. The mind itself is like a crystal, clear and empty, and when the sun shines on the crystal, naturally 5 colored rainbow lights emerges from the crystal. And so similarly, from this one clear and empty mind, 5 kinds of wisdom just naturally arise. It is said that enlightened activities perform the benefit of others effortlessly. So within yourself, these qualities are complete. The qualities of the 5 wisdoms. That is when you have realized you have assumed the enlightened form of empty appearance, then naturally the benefit of sentient beings is performed through the 4 enlightened activities or the 5 wisdoms. And so that is because now, first, when the 5 afflictive emotions are in an immature state, then they are just the 5 afflictive emotions. But when they mature into the 5 wisdoms. And then actually the 5 afflictions and the 5 wisdoms are not separate. It's just like ice and water are not separate. So when ice melts, it's water, but for as long as it's not melted, if you hit somebody with it over the head, they will bleed. Then it's just like a rock, but it's still water by nature. So the difference is just being or not being matured. So within one mind, there are the 5 wisdoms which have matured from the 5 afflictive emotions. So this crystal with the rainbow lights and the 5 colors is a sign of that. So once the mind matures into the 5 wisdoms, then one naturally performs the 4 enlightened activities for the sake of others, and one manifests the 3 or the 4 kayas. For example, there are teachings on the Guru's 4 kayas, which are actually a natural expression of one's own mind, which is just like this crystal from which 5 colored rainbow lights emerge. So when you realize the nature of your mind, you become free of dualistic grasping, and as a result of that, naturally, the 5 wisdoms will reveal themselves and then naturally, effortlessly perform the benefit of sentient beings through the enlightened activities.
sarva siddhi abhikita oma tari tata lamja kapta tari toma de sheba ma wo ja yore mira to su sheba wo so jonde nyamni je papa de shinje kamne ha ko re tari te ta lamja kapta chuba ze choji sa bo je re ji wang to ko yore.
And this is the empowerment of the substances of Dharma, Amrita, and Rakta. And so there are many different ways to explain these offering substances. And they occur also in our ongoing practices of Vajrakilaya and Yamantaka and so on. But this is an empowerment of the offering substances that are offered while we are on the path in order to accumulate merit.
So Colin Troopers Hajanga Colin Troopers Hajanga dress something just so Roman Nesum that be go subject to the Repachipa Tam Che Sar Doji Sum Dang Yermi the Sajalaba Merja Chuko no Roja. Lama Tamche Tangi, no one drop in my Samang the Bako, Bao Draga, Sevan, Bandang, Tamche, the Doji Roman, Dana, Messenger Love here, 라신 제제 르당 당세 노베 마타바 송셔 네동 미쳐 저거 담지 레 좁셔 세당소나 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 소남 냠당 도배 용지 냠당 도배 용지 삼제 별정 초반에 세상 초 초반에 세상 초통만 거 소저 기와다 체력 탐제의 지성심 바 제도소 홍홍홍홍홍홍홍홍 오 매장을 배마들 디바다 거야 베게자 온모가 베게자 아따다 베게자 홍서가 베게자 오 매장을 맞는데 디바다 그러는 거야 베게자 와가 베게자 아따다 베게자 홍서가 베게자 온매가 비마세데 디바다 그러는 거야 베게자 온모가 베게자 तदा बेखेदा सवा बेखेदा रो बेनगर बिमादे देवादा करने तो सारी फेंको तो सारे बेनगर बिमादे देवादा करने कया बेखेदा मरा बेखेदा तदा बेखेदा सवा बेखेदा रे बेनगर बिमादे देवा दा करने कया बेखेदा वगा बेखेदा तदा बेखेदा सवा बेखेदा रे बेनगर बिमादे देवादा 그야 베케다 오마가 베케다 또다 베케다 사와 베케다 세운베다 베마서데 디와다 그는 거야 베케다 오마가 베케다 또다 베케다 홍사와 베케다 세운베다 그러면 디와다 그는 거야 베케다 오마가 베케다 또다 베케다 홍 사와 베케다 세운베다 그러면 디와다 내가 아베게다 엄마가 아베게다 아따다 아베게다 홍사와 아베게다 온베다가 비마다들이라 그러네요. 거야 아베게다 엄마가 아베게다 아따다 아베게다 홍사와 아베게다 온베다가 비마다들이라 거야 아베게다 엄마가 아베게다 아따다 아베게다 홍사와 아베게다 온베다가 비마 देवादा कया बिखदा वगा बिखदा तदा बिखदा हों सवा बिखदा रे ओम बेदा बिमा देवादा कया बिखदा वगा बिखदा तदा बिखदा सवा बिखदा रे ओम बेदा बिमा देवादा कया बिखदा वगा बिखदा तदा बिखदा सवा बिखदा रे ओम बेदा बिमा देवा 다가는 거야 아베게다 온뭐가 아베게다 아다 아베게다 홍서와 아베게다 온베다 그래 비마트다고 내가 다가는 거야 아베게다 온뭐가 아베게다 아다 아베게다 홍 소와 아베게다 레 온베다 그래 비마 내가 다가는 거야 아베게다 온뭐가 तदा बेखेदा 홍서와 बेखेदा 온베다 그 비마서 대와다 그는 거야 왜서 온와가 베게다 तदा बेखे다 사와 베खे다 해 온베다 그 비마서 대와다 그는 거야 아베케다 온와가 베케다 तदा बेखे다 홍서와 베케다 매당 그 비마서 대와다 그는 거야 아베게다 와가 아베게다 저다 아베게다 홍서와 아베게다 메다고 비마세다 디와도 거야 아베게다 온와가 아베게다 저다 아베게다 홍서와 아베게다 아베게다 홍홍 너네로 먹게 아주 뭐지 ho hong, hong, ho hong, hong, ho hong, hong. Sabi hong guju ah.
So everyone please chant Hong.
Ho hong, hong. Ho hong, hong. Hong ne gede. 대화리 롱게 초발래 그래. 카가 홍다. 롱고 홍이 카가 롱고 홍데. 속다는 홍 요라. 대화리 못 잡거래.
So actually, when you're saying the Hong, it's actually not something that just like a word that comes from your mouth, but actually it actually comes from your navel. So it's not that the wind comes like a normal word from the mouth, but you feel it moving, like the energy or the force. You feel it moving in the navel when you say the syllable Hong.
내가 뭐지? 흥! 그러더니 저거 초박하래 되게 손지가 롱쏘요래 대화 초발래디.
So look at the feeling and kind of the sensation that arises when you say this forceful Hong that comes from the navel. What it actually does is that when the Hong comes from the navel, when there's this wind movement in the navel, then that actually regenerates or kind of sustains the life force winds.
난도서 요지디 라면그 간들 저바 거에 자시쇼 롱아 예미 롱아 예미 홍자 상하제 니바가디 롱그 자시쇼 세브르가 타데 사바사라 조바체 통케랑도 죽을 자시쇼 용띠 바예 베마 저보도 그런 거 오지 그 자시쇼 전에 다담 전에 다예 로라 법지고 빼만 종네 더망 예미 뱀종 토왕 예미 자시쇼 이남제로 남정하소 당가로 마상가 담제 저지소 띵송 터자가니 적발했지 좀 걸어 딱 말을 자시쇼 좀 걸어 딱 말을 자시쇼 삼주고 봐 양잡에서 라면 산도 Tsewang Dzinpa 랍 왕고로 저 벌로 버터바인베 두다도 르라마 Tsewang Dzinpa 고르곰 아로 좋아서지 홍다다 만들어지 홍다다 만들 샘렉 샘르가 동 살아 동도 빠지면 어디야 집주조바 마자 봐서 또다니 나가 담생의 철견도 송년배 내기도
This completes well the blessings and empowerment of the secret accomplishment of the Guru who holds power over life from the utterly profound enlightened intent of the holy Dharma of the sacred great perfection. Thus, at all times, visualize your body as the form of Guru Tsewang Dzinpa. Never separate your speech and all wind currents from the recitation of Hong. Rest within the great perfection state of empty awareness, with the intention to properly observe all root and branch samayas, such as making offerings to Padmasambhava on every 10th day of the Tibetan calendar continuously. Please repeat the following.
그리 다다다제 담색 탐치 일단다 삼티는 되고 요리 다다 통몽 것도 돼 거기 생긴 담치에서 서서 삼티를 들어와지 강나 삼티는 상속 책정 거를 저 강이 들이 해당당 가고고 왕도 마셔라 대시로더니 건조 상속세 3년째 니기랑 진 돈이도 돈답고 담책이 뛰는 연구요래 들이 담책이 받았다 사와 돈다 충충 것들이 되다서다 라는 상태에서 가청도 걔네 들이 들었다는 돈답고 들이 들이다 기와 체력 담지에서 또 생기 담지 내와도 내가 저도 내 말게 계속 내가 저 가래에 나선 거를 상하게 내가 저 가래에 사바데 니게 사직을 납제지 사바단 기계를 뛰는데 내가 중지에 주는 강리 상태를 가는 게 나벨들이 동이 중지에 지나서야지 다들이 유무가 강리서 나딩이 중으리 동이 말이 나된도는 좀 조금 사지 진심을 통해서 진심 선대를 담색 자자 되는 거요 들이 통미 벌써 대마치라게 들이 삼비 열 마치 담 잘해야들이 주바공 고속다다 라리 소디만 쪼아들이 사족세지와 사족세지들이 제당리 이제 저도 쇼요래 따따따 소소라는 게 내가 저서 라한 거요래 혼자 삼텔라디 때려들이 담책 소당만 잘와데 나한테는 다다처럼 민다자 세어보네 양한테는 세었다가 습지 핑고 싸우는 우클 나세는 동대 대단시 나는 다른 안진이가 파면 거래 루시라 물을 보체 세요래 또 생디야다 그 남이 야와라 거기에 당도 이제 거기에 당하는 대차를 대지 샘되고 나세 발레레 나가 습지 통제 피바다 내와 저렇게 성무신이 사세 람스트리나 저것들이 랑게 루티 쫑을 산속선 터바더니 쏘다 내려다 공부들이 사지 탐지가 됐다고 쓴 거예요. 하고 저 말 쏘터버서라는 거 하고 그래. 그러다가 지당 담자지 반체 담책 하장이 뭐래. 남아도 한번 담책 대례니 말이. 들이 파마가 담책 대례니 말이. 들이 습지 탐지들이 사바 체미바 사바 체미바들이나 땡네들이 다상하게 담겨가 차고요래. 이 주로만 나가다 이제 며칠 강고 대시를 먹이 카바세 받데 들이 톡라 양당한테 요 다른 양자 쇼고 뭐도 들이 참아들이 주로 다시 주로 참아라 다다를 쇼가 탐실을 다시 델렉션이 들이라게 몇 마음 통되니 강이 잡지 뼈까지 치고도 연락 다 주로 탐진가라 고소비 가오리 들이 대체들 통될 때 가려자 시간이 이제 들이 주로 탐지 됐다고 냐니 나와서
So for the Samaya, actually all Samaya is complete within loving kindness, and everything, even in a temporary sense, all common siddhis and all happiness comes from that. Any sentient being in samsara, whoever has a connection to love, will experience happiness, and it's that love that must be transformed into the nature of bodhicitta. And therefore, do not become controlled by anger and jealousy. So on the relative level, cultivate bodhicitta, the essence of which is love and compassion. And actually, when you cultivate love, it naturally becomes the ultimate samaya of emptiness, because the self then disappears. So we need to be careful that what we sometimes do is that, in order to, for the sake of a very minor, insignificant activity, we often neglect to cultivate even a slight moment of love for others. But that will lead to suffering in future lifetimes. So we always speak about we always speak about happiness, and we say may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. Everyone thinks about what's the cause of happiness. Cause of happiness, as the Buddha had shown, is love and compassion. Even if you just experience the slightest happiness it is because of love and compassion. And likewise in this world, even if you experience just the slightest difficulty or suffering, it has a cause, and that are the afflictive emotions. And the afflictive emotions all arise from self-grasping. So it is said, all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. The perfect Buddhas arise from the altruistic mind. So within that altruistic mind, all the hundreds of samayas are actually complete. And that is what we actually need to practice in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. It is only to cultivate love, as it is described in the 37 practices. And not only should we cultivate love for our loved ones, our near ones, but especially for those that we don't like, those enemies who do harm and so on. Especially we need to be patient with them and practice according to the 37 practices, wherein it also says that the enemy, the real enemy of bodhicitta is hatred or anger. We always mention that. But it is that which causes you to lose your cause of happiness. If you lose your love, you have really separated from the life force of the samaya. So that's the life force of samaya that you should never separate from. And so we always mention that. And so again, cultivate this motivation, thinking that I will benefit sentient beings. Even, for example, if someone were to threaten you at gunpoint to kill you, still you should not lose that wish to benefit them and think that even if they kill me, I must not lose my bodhicitta. Because if I get angry at the person who wants to kill me, then myself and also the other person are ruined. And I've not only lost my precious human body, but also I've created the cause of falling into hell. That cause is anger. And so therefore, even if someone were to kill you, do not lose your love, your bodhicitta for them. So that is what we mean with may all beings have happiness and causes of happiness. So then you would think that he may kill me, but in all future lifetimes may I become the cause of benefit and happiness for sentient beings. And so if you're able to think about in this way, in that moment, for example, of being killed, then it is like you're trading, you're selling your body you're trading it in for bodhicitta, what you receive, which is what you receive in return. So bodhicitta, therefore, is like your life force. This is what all the Buddhas have always said. And now this is something that you have to see for yourself. So it's something that we can all understand, but it's also something that we have to hold on to ourselves, not just understand. And when it comes to samaya, or losing samaya, which is losing our love, there are certain very grave beings or people. So, for example, breaking the samaya between Vajra siblings is a very grave transgression. And then it's even more grave to break the samaya with the Vajra master. And then it's even more grave to break the samaya with one's parents. So we must have love for immeasurable love for all sentient beings. That's in brief the actual samaya of the secret mantra. So, my dear Dharma friends, all the disciples around the world, this is actually that one thing that I have talked about non-stop my entire life, and I will continue to do so until my mouth falls off. So we have this is nothing new, but so I'm mentioning it again. And so now we have seen each other on the screen, and I'm very grateful that you came. All of this coming together, also all of the technology and so forth coming together maybe is very difficult, But now we have accomplished that, and I really was intent to do that, insisting on accomplishing that, because I know my Dharma friends love me very much and want to see me, and so now I also try to see you. So that is wonderful that we have come together. So in any case, please continue to practice in this way.
In the Yellow Prayer Book, we'll do the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama on page 22. For this realm, encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may you remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the three jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya lion, supreme are your activities of guiding others with your perfect deeds. May you, the precious Guru who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of the Lord Dringumpa, great Lord of the three jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peace and light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. The one known in the noble land as Arya Deva emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Cherdingpa, the heart son of Jingting Gompo. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 eons. Thank you so much for bestowing this profound empowerment. We're so grateful. And everyone, please join us tomorrow morning for the Namgyalma practice, where we will do mantra accumulation for the long life of His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche. And we start at 6 a.m. Arizona time. And also, Garchen Rinpoche will be giving teachings on the Tsewang Dzinpa practice starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Arizona time. And then in the afternoon, starting at 3 p.m., Khenpo Tenzin will share his personal experience of Guru devotion for Garchen Rinpoche, and then Khenpo Samdrup will share his experiences at 4 p.m. So please join us for another great day of Dharma. And everyone, take care, and we'll practice with you tomorrow. Thank you.